Solvete discipuli et discipuli. Moving on to the next passage from stage 6. This is kind of a touching story about Quintus when he was a baby. I'll go ahead and read through the whole passage, and you can follow along. As you're following along, you might want to, as we go on your own, circle the verbs, and then when I go back through and circle them, see if you were able to spot each verb. Another thing to try to do as I go through the passage would be to try and see if you can decide if each verb is a perfect or imperfect, looking for that V or B. All right, let's go ahead and start. The title of the passage is Felix et Fur. Post caenam Quintus rogavit, Pater, cur Felix nunt est libertus, olim erat servus tuus. Tum, Pater, totam rem narravit. Caecilius. Felix olim in tablino scribebat. Felix erat solus, clemens et grumio cibum in foro quae rebant. Metella aberat, quod sororum visitabat. Felix, Pater, tuus aberat, quod argentarium in foro administrabat. Caecilius, Nemo erat in villa nisse Felix et infans, parvus infans in cubiculo dormiebat. Subito fur per januum intravit, fur tacite atrium circumspectavit, tacite cubiculum intravit, ube infans erat. Felix nihil audivit, quod in intente laborabat. Fur parvum infantem e villa tacite portabat. Subito infans vagivit. Felix postquam clamorem audivit, statum e tablino vestinavit. Furcifer clamavit, Felix eratus et furum ferociter pulsavit. Felix furum paene necavit. Ita Felix parvum infantem servavit. Felix, Dominus postquam rem audivit, erat laetus et me liberavit. Ego igitur sum libertus. Quintus, sed quis erat infans? Caecilius, erat Quintus. All right, I'll go ahead and take the passage section by section and find the verbs and then walk you through it. So let's start with just the introduction. The part in italics at the top. So we have the verb rogavit. We have the verb est. We have the verb erat. And then we have the verb narravit. All right, let's go ahead and start with the first part. Post caenam Quintus rogavit. So our verb is rogavit, which means asked. Okay, so that's over here on the side. In case you didn't know, fur is a thief, and post means after. So if we look at this first part, post caenam, after dinner, Quintus rogavit, Quintus asked. And here's what he asked. We have our verb is. So he says, Pater, or father, cur Felix nunc est libertus. Why is Felix Nunc is now. Okay, so that's over here on the side. Why is Felix now a freedman? So he's asking, why isn't he a slave like Claymanes or Grumio? So why is he free, a libertus? And this is Quintus's question. Olim erat servus tuus. Olim is on the side, right? Some time ago, he's saying some time ago. Erat, that's the past tense, so it means was. Some time ago, he was servus tuus, your slave. So Quintus is confused. Well, how did Felix become free? Because I know at one time he was your slave. Next sentence. Tum pater. Then the father. I'm going to jump to the verb. Narawit. When I see that verb, I think of to narrate. It has a V, so I know it's past tense, so narrated. So then the father narrated. And what did he narrate? Totam rem. The whole matter, the whole thing, the whole story. Okay, so Caecilius is going to tell the story of how Felix became a libertus. Caecilius starts off. Let me go ahead and underline the verbs. So we have scribebat, and that's an imperfect. We have erat, which is was. We have quaerebant, which is an imperfect. We have aberat, which has was in it, but if you look on the side, aberat means was out, or you're away from somewhere at the moment. We have visitabat, which is imperfect. And let's go ahead and work our way through the beginning of Caecilius' story. Felix olim in tablino scribebat. Okay, so I jump to the verb. Someone was writing. I look back at the beginning. My subject is Felix. So Felix was writing. When was he writing? Well, olim, some time ago. And where was he writing? In tablino. So if I put it together, some time ago, Felix was writing in the study. Next part. Felix erat solus. Here we have was. So Felix was, if I look to the side, he was alone, by himself, writing in the study. Next part. Claimings et grumio cibum in foro quaerebant. I look at my verb, quaerebant. I know it's imperfect because of the B. The NT tells me it's plural, so I need to find two subjects that are doing this verb. The verb means to look for. I jump back to the beginning, and I find my subject, Claymanes et grumio. So Claymanes and grumio were looking. What were they looking for? Cibum, food. Where were they looking? In the forum. If I put it all together, Claymanes and grumio were looking for food in the forum, and that's why Felix was alone. Metella aberat, quod sororum visitabat. So Metella was away, and I know that from the side she was out. Quod is because. Visitabat, that's imperfect, and it's singular, one person. So I'm going to assume it's still Metella as the subject. So Metella was out. She was visiting, or because she was visiting. Who is she visiting? Her sororum, and that's her sister. And that's where you get the word sorority from. Like if you're in a college, if you're a girl and you're in a college sorority, it's a group that you join in college, and you call the people your sisters, and it comes from the Latin word for sister. All right, then Felix jumps in. Let's underline the verbs. Aberat, again, we've seen that verb a lot, was out. And administrabat. And that one's on the side, was looking after. Pater tuus aberat. Pater tuus is your father. Aberat was out. Then we have the second half of the sentence, starts with quod, which means because. Jump to the verb, administrabat. Since that verb is singular, I'm going to assume it's still talking about the father. So he said, your father was away. quod administrabat, because he was looking after. What was he looking after? Got it right here. His argentarium. And we saw that a few chapters ago. It's his banker's stall. Remember, he is a banker. So because he was looking after his banker's stall, where at? In foro, in the forum. All right, so Felix says, your father was away because he was looking after his banker's stall in the forum. And again, this is all setting the scene for why Felix was there by himself. Then Caecilius continues the story. Let's look for the verbs. We have erat, was. We have dormiebat, and that ends in it has a B in it, so I know that's imperfect. Then we have intravit, which has a V, so I know that one's perfect. Circumspectavit, that has a V, so I know that that's perfect. Intravit, again, perfect. Erat, was. Audivit, perfect. Labораbat, imperfect. Portabat, imperfect. Vagiwit, perfect. Audiwit, that one's perfect. And festinavit, and that one's perfect. Okay, here we go. Nemo erat in villa, nisse Felix et infans. Nemo, we had that maybe a couple passages ago. That means no one. So no one was where? In villa. No one was in the house. Nisse is on the side. It means except. So no one was in the house except, we already know one of the people, Felix. And then we have et infans, which means the baby. So the only two people there were Felix and the little baby. Next sentence. Parvus infans in cubiculo dormiebat. Parvus is on the side. It means little. Parvus infans, the little baby. What was little baby doing? Dormiebat, was sleeping. Remember that word dormitory, the place where you sleep. So the little baby was sleeping where? In cubiculo. And that is on the side, and that's the bedroom. So the baby's sleeping in the bedroom, and if you remember back to the beginning, Felix is in the tablino. Next sentence. Subito fer per januum intravit. The verb means, intravit means entered. So we have to look for who entered. I go back to the beginning and I see a word for, and if you remember, that word is all the way back up here at the top. It means a thief. So a thief entered. Well, when did he enter? Subito, suddenly. Suddenly a thief entered. How? Per januum. And per means through. So suddenly a thief entered through the door. Next sentence. For tacite atrium circumspectavit. Our verb is circumspectavit. It's perfect, so it means looked around. Who looked around? Still the thief, the fur. So the thief looked around. How did he look around? Tacite, quietly. And where did he look around? He looked around the atrium, that entryway. So the thief quietly looked around the entryway. And we're guessing that he's trying to see if anyone's home. Next part. Tacite cubiculum intravit, ube infans erat. Okay, starts off again. Tacite, quietly. The verb intravit, entered. I don't see a new subject, so I'm assuming that it's still the thief. So quietly, he entered. Cubiculum, the bedroom. Quietly, he entered the bedroom. Ube, if I look at the side, it means where. Where infans erat, where the baby was, the infant was. So he enters that bedroom. Felix nihil audivit, quod intente labораbat. So Felix, the verb is audivit. So Felix heard nihil. If I look at the side, nihil means nothing. So Felix heard nothing. And we want to know, well, why? Why isn't he being careful or being attentive? Well, we have the next part of the sentence. Quod intente laborabat. Because laborabat is imperfect, so it's was working. How is he working? Intente means, like it sounds, intently. He's really focused on his work in the study. Next sentence. For parvum infantem evila tacite portabat. Well, a lot of information, and the verb comes all the way at the end. The verb is portabat. I know because of the B it's imperfect, so it's was carrying. I look for my singular subject all the way back at the beginning. For, thief. So the thief was carrying. What was he carrying? Well, the thing that ends in an M. The parvum infantem, the small infant. Where did he carry the infant? Evila, out of the house. How did he carry the infant? Tacite, quietly. So if I put it all together, the thief was carrying the small infant out of the house quietly, and Felix doesn't hear a thing. Next sentence. Subito infans vagivit. Suddenly, our verb is vagivit, and that's on the side. Cried. So suddenly the baby cried. Easy sentence. So the baby lets out a sound. Felix postquam clamorem audivit statum etablino festinavit. Our verb, we have two verbs. Let's do the first one. Audivit. That has a V, so I know it's perfect. It means he heard. Well, who heard? Felix, finally. Felix heard. But we have this thing set off with the commas, so it says postquam clamorem. Postquam means when or after. Here it probably means when. So it's Felix. When he heard, clamorem is the commotion. So Felix, when he heard the commotion, here's what he did. Festinavit. And that means hurried. When did he hurry? Statum. At once. Where did he hurry? E tablino. Out of the study. So let's put this all together. Felix, when he heard the uproar, hurried at once out of the study. This is what he does. Let's do the verbs. So in this one we have clamavit, we have pulsavit, we have nekavit, we have servavit. And let's start with the first sentence. Furcifer clamavit Felix eratus et furum ferocator pulsavit. Furcifer, one word, shouts it out. You scoundrel, you villain. You bad guy, I guess you would say. Clamavit Felix. So clamavit is a perfect. It's shouted. Who shouted? Felix. How did he shout? Eratus. He's upset. So villain, Felix shouted angrily. Et furum ferocator pulsavit. Now our verb comes at the end. It's pulsavit. It's he hit. Past tense. Perfect. He hit. Who did he hit? The furum, the thief. How did he hit him? Ferocator, fiercely, with all his strength. So if we put that together, villain, Felix shouted angrily, and he hit the thief ferociously. Next sentence. Felix furum paene nekavit. Our verb is nekavit. If we look on the side, it means to kill. We have a verb, adverb next to it, paine, which means almost. So someone was almost killed. Well, who's doing the killing? Our subject Felix. Who's almost being killed? The thief, the furim. So Felix almost killed the thief because he's posawet. He's punching him so fiercely. He's upset. He's still a little infant. Last sentence. Ita Felix paruum infantem servavit. The first word, ita, in this way. Remember, that's the whole point of the story. Jumped ahead. That's not quite the point. But it's what he does. In this way, jump to the verb, servavit, means saved. Who's doing the saving? Felix. So in this way, Felix saved. Who did he save? Well, it's the two words with the M, paruum, infantem, the small baby. So in this way, Felix saved the small baby. Now, Felix jumps in. And the verbs here are audivit, erat, liberavit, and sum. Okay, here's what Felix says. Dominus postquam rem audivit, erat laetus et me liberavit. So he says, the master, postquam rem audivit. Audivit has a V, so I know it's perfect, and it means he heard. And I look back at the beginning, I have my subject, Dominus. So the master, postquam rem audivit. Postquam is when, rem is thing. So the master, when he heard this thing, or this story, or this event, erat laetus, he was happy. Et me liberavit. If I look on the side, liberavit means to set free. Me is what you think, me. So he was happy and set me free. To put it all together, the master, when he heard this, he was happy and set me free. Last part, ego igitur sum libertus. Igitur means therefore. So I therefore, ego igitur, I therefore sum am libertus, free. I'm a free man. So now we finally get the reason why he became free. Since he saved the little baby, Caecilius set him free, set Felix free, and he became a libertus. Then Quintus has a question. Sed quis erat infans? And the verb there is erat. Sed means but. So he's saying, but, quis, remember our questions, quisus tu, who are you? So here he says, sed quis, but who, erat, was, infans, but who was the baby? Caecilius, erat Quintus. Erat is was, and he says it was Quintus. It was you. So Felix was set free because he saved Quintus from a thief when Quintus was just an infant. And that's why Felix is free. That's why everyone's so happy to see him. And Quintus learns a little bit of information about a story from his life when he was just a little infant. And maybe now realizes why he should appreciate Felix a lot also. Okay, that's the reading passage. And hopefully I can post maybe one more thing this week. And we have school starting up again in just about a week.